Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can see and hear us okay. Now that I've said that, I think my microphone is in the wrong place. I'm just going to adjust that. Hopefully now you can see and hear us okay. Pip and Michael join me again today for our draw along of term 2. I think it's draw along number 4, where we are going to be studying the maned wolf. And I am particularly excited about this one. I think just by looking at the image that we're working from, you can see why. What a fascinating and peculiar looking creature that we're going to learn all about. Hi Bailey, thanks for joining us. So yes, the maned wolf, it's our penultimate draw along for this term, which means we've got one more left after this one. And I have really been looking forward to this. I can honestly, hand on heart, say I've never drawn the maned wolf before, so this is a first for me. As well as potentially you. Have you drawn one before, Michael?
No, I drawn a fox.
Drawn a fox, which does feel like it could be helpful today because there is something very fox-like about the maned wolf. We're going to talk about how they look as well. Hi Eden and Susie. Hi Emily. Hello Mary. Thank you for joining us. So the maned wolf isn't actually a wolf. So just to confuse you. The maned wolf of South America is a magnificent animal with a pointed muzzle and very large erect ears. It's neither wolf nor fox. It's actually its own species in its genus, the Chrysocian genus. I think I've said that right. So it's almost like its own group of animal, and that translates to golden dog. Although it's more red in colour, when the light is just right, the maned wolf shimmers gold in the South American sunlight. Very cool. I do think he looks like a real life Pokemon. So the maned wolf is a tall, slender canid with distinctive and rather fabulous features. It has long, reddish-brown fur with black legs and a mane running down its neck and back. Its legs are remarkably long and it has a bushy, white-tipped tail. The maned wolf has a fox-like face with a prominent black nose and large, upright ears, making it something akin to a hyena, cross fox, cross deer, cross wolf. And I think that's probably why it feels Pokemon-like to me, because it does look like it's just a mergence of lots of different species put together. They're sometimes referred to as foxes on stilts due to their somewhat fox-like appearance and long legs, but it's the long legs that give them an advantage because they're able to peer over the tops of the long grasses that sometimes prey might be hiding within. So it gives them an advantage when they're looking for prey to hunt. Hi from Abigail. Hello, Abigail. The maned wolf is South America's largest canid and represents a unique branch of the canid family tree. It's really in a class of its own. Sadly, however, numbers are being threatened by human activity, including a land use shift towards more irrigation practices and deforestation for agriculture. So they're not endangered yet, but they are near threatened. In captivity in the UK, there are not many maned wolves. There definitely isn't any in the wild. So in captivity, there's a litter of 5 maned wolves, which were 4 males and 1 female, were born in November 22 in Yorkshire, and a single maned wolf was born in Exmoor Zoo in May 23 in part of an ongoing breeding programme over here. So that's cool. Hello, Holly. So should we get drawing then? So Michael's working from a different reference picture today, and if you didn't know that, you can do that if you want to. If you don't particularly like this reference picture, you can just have a Google search and find an image that appeals to you. You was looking at a puppy a minute ago, weren't you, Michael? But I'm going to work on the one that you just saw and the one that's in the discussion tab. Hello, Bean and Bud. So we are going to start off, as always, just by sketching the beginning proportions out, just to make sure that we can fit everything in that we need to fit in and we don't crop anything out of our picture. So I want to make sure I get that big bushy tail in. I want to make sure I leave space for those big pointed round ears as well. This is all just very, very rough light sketching so that if I make a mistake, I can easily rub it out. I also want to make sure that I started high up enough on my page that I can fit those really long legs in. You don't want to shorten the legs in just to fit the picture onto your page, because it's those legs that are a very significant feature of this animal. You're right, Michael, you're looking for a rubber already, aren't you?
Yeah.
We've got the remnants of what's left of our rubber because of the dog. So we've got this image of the maned wolf walking through the grass here. And it's up to you if you want to put the background in and the foreground. I will probably just focus on the wolf just because we know what I'm like and I always run out of time. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. So very long, very slender legs. They do look like foxes on stilts. I already feel like I've shortened that leg already, probably because I'm just used to drawing animals like this with legs in short proportions. So I think I've just automatically done that without even thinking about it. So I'm going to extend that out a bit more. And then the tail comes down there. So I've got a really, really rough outline to begin with. Georgina said, what Pokemon does it look like? Oh, I don't know about any specific Pokemon. I'm not very good with the Pokemon names, but I just mean it has that feel about it. It has a sense of it's a mixture of different animals put together, like a lot of Pokemon seem to be. Hi from Ria and Waris. I'm sorry if I've said that wrong. My pronunciation is shocking. So I'm just going to tie this up a bit because things don't look quite right to me at the moment on my sketch. So I'm going to see if I can fix that a little bit before I start then neatening it up and getting those details into place. It's not a particularly long tail when you look at it. Or maybe it is, it's just that compared to the legs it doesn't look particularly long. Maybe it's just that the legs carry on going. How are we getting on so far? Michael's making growly noises. I don't think he's doing an impression of the main morph. I think it's a sign that maybe it's not going well this morning at the moment. Michael? Yeah. So, that's a bit better. Not perfect, but it never is. If we wanted perfect, we'd just photocopy the picture, wouldn't we? I'm going to go in now and try and get in some of these details. Those ears look quite close together at the top, so I'm going to make sure there's not too big a gap there. They're not quite pointy like a fox. It's quite similar to the African wild dog. Have you got the rubber, Michael?
Not really.
Yeah, quite different to similar to the African wild dog with that rounded shape, but still very large. And get that nose in at the end. The nose isn't quite central to us, so I'm going to make sure that I try and get that accurate because that's something I have a habit of getting wrong. And get those eyes in. I might have done the ears too big. I might have to adjust them down a little bit. If this was a Pokemon, what would you call it, Michael?
No idea.
Anybody else got any ideas?
I'm not really starting getting a different picture. It's hard if it's laying down.
Oh, is that what you was working from, a
Yeah.
different reference picture? I know what I've done wrong here. I started the nose too high up, so I need to bring it down because he's got quite a long, skinny looking snout, really. A bit like the legs. Don't know why, but the nose is causing me a bit of bother this morning. I think I know it's something that's gone wrong on a couple of my drawings this term, and so now it's scaring me a little bit. It's my weak point. Oh my. Yeah, not quite right. I might have to come back to that bit before it frustrates me too much. What have we got? Mine looks like a horse. Well, I don't think that's necessarily inaccurate. When you look at the legs again, it is very horsey-like or deer-like, isn't it? So I've just realised I've got to move that leg because it wasn't quite in the right place and it was shortening it. We bought a pipe rubber at the weekend, so thanks for the recommendation. Let me know how you get on with it. I've lost ours. I say I've lost. The dog stole them. We need to buy some more. Where should I start? Julian said. It's a good question. I started just plotting out the head and then the body, and then we've gone from there. Now I'm going to plot in some more details and then the lighter and darker tones so that I know where to start when I start adding colour and tone. Anybody said it's good. They're getting on well with the putty rubber. It's a game changer, I tell you. I wish I had one today. Don't you, Michael?
Mm.
I do like this little black bit of mane that they've got going down their backs. I suppose that's what makes it look a bit hyena-like. And you get a real sense of they've got quite long fur as well. Again, I suppose that makes it akin to a wolf or a fox. And definitely with this orange colour and then the white tip and even the black legs, that's quite fox-like as well, isn't it? And I'm going to make sure that I make the fur on the bottom half of the legs look a lot shorter than at the top. You do see that graduation in fur change. Same as around the muzzle as well. I think where this photo was taken with the wolf in motion, it's slightly blurred around the feet, so it's harder to see the details, but we can try and fill them in with our own imaginations and based on what we know from drawing other wolf-like creatures this term. Mm. Okay, I think I've got the structure down at least. And it's already done with the outline. That's pretty much where I am, I think, because I think a lot of the texture I'm going to add in with the colour as I go along. That's not bad since we've had to draw the whole picture today, not just focused on the face. Sorry I'm late from Farron. You're never late. You're just on time. You're here the time you were meant to arrive. So, now that I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the eyes and they're too far up the head, so I'm going to have to move them, which is a shame because they were the right shape in my head, so you can guarantee I won't get them as good now, but they just looked like they were too high up. I think I've just drawn it in exactly the same place. Yep, still too high. But these are the sort of things, if I didn't change them now, it would really bug me all the time I was working on it. So I need to adjust it at this point so that I'm happy moving forward. That's better. Sometimes just a little change can make a big difference to the picture. What do you do when your putty rubber gets completely grey? You should find that it still carries on working just as normal, to be fair. You can't, I don't believe you can clean it. Yeah, you just carry on using it. The ones I bought start off grey, so I've never noticed the change, to be fair. Right, I'm going to start with getting the base colour down, which I think might be a little bit tricky to get the right tone of oranges and reds as well. So I want to spend some time doing and getting that right before I then put in some texture detail as well. Before I go on, I'm going to give you some more facts about them. So they normally stand, in terms of size, they normally stand about 3 foot tall from their feet to their shoulder. So up until this point is normally about 3 foot. And they normally weigh about 50 pounds, which is about 23 kilograms. They range through Central and Eastern South America, including northern Argentina, South and Central Brazil, Paraguay, Bolivia, and southern Peru. They live in the Cerrado. It might be Cerrado. I'm not very good at pronouncing words. It's the largest biome of South America, which is composed of wet and dry forests, grasslands, savannas, marshes, and wetlands. They have a really important role as well. Maned wolves are important because they consume fruits native to the region, and by doing so they spread the seeds throughout the biome. So obviously they eat fruit in one area, they travel to another area, they poop, and that spreads the seeds so that they can carry on growing new plants. It's crucial for the regeneration and dispersal of plant species and for maintaining biodiversity of plant species. So that's what makes them important. It's difficult for us to know the entire lifespan or to estimate the lifespan of maned wolves in the wild, but current best estimates suggest around 6 to 8 years. So they don't really live particularly long. It's not, the reason we don't know is because they're quite aloof and secretive, so we don't know enough about this species. You're right there, Michael. Yeah. They mark their territory with powerful smelling urine and feces, so wee and poo, on hillocks and termite mounds along their borders. They don't howl, but instead they emit loud barks or roar barks to let their mates know where they are and to warn other wolves to stay away. They are omnivorous eaters and primarily solitary hunters, so they eat meat and they eat fruit. They eat seasonally abundant fruits and vegetables and are particularly interested in Luberia, whose name means fruit of the wolf. Is a small tomato-like berry that, along with other fruit and vegetables, makes up 50% of the maned wolf's diet. So they don't eat mostly meat. They eat like 50-50. I suppose like us guys, really. They eat small mammals such as rodents, rabbits and insects. They rotate their large ears to listen for prey animals in the grass. They tap the ground with their front foot to flush out the prey and pounce to catch it, or they may dig after burrowing prey. They may also leap into the air to capture birds and insects. Their long legs help them move through and see above the tall grasses. They share their habitat with a wide range of other carnivores such as bush dogs, crab-eating foxes, hoary fox, pampas fox, puma, jaguar, pampas cats, crab-eating raccoons, hog-nosed skunk and grison. Because of their large size, only the puma and domestic dogs have been reported to kill the maned wolf. So they do have natural predators other than humans, and that's pumas and domestic dogs. They live in a monogamous pair, so they pair up and they stay together, and they share a 10 square mile territory together. So there's some facts to keep you going for a while. Joe's joined us. I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone's efforts today. So yeah, I think this will be a nice mix of illustrations. Harrison's put, mine looks like Snorlax. Is that a Pokemon?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you know what Pokemon it is? Can you visualise it?
Basically a massive lazy Pokemon, but it's got like, it's like super big.
Mm-hmm.
He's normally like asleep, and like sitting down. He's got a blue back and like a creamy colour for his belly.
Do you think a maned wolf could look like a Snorlax?
I guess if you made the maned wolf really big.
Yeah. Let's see how many Pokemon-looking maned wolves we end up with at the end of the day. As I said, I am now just throwing colour down on my page. Not literally throwing it, because that would be a bit messy, wouldn't it? But I'm trying to get some orange tones and red tones and some brown tones. So I'm always sketching in the direction that the fur is growing. I'm doing quite long strokes because obviously this is long fur, so I want to depict that in the texture. And that is a good way of doing so. I'm not worrying too much about detail. This is just about getting some base colour down, and then we can work on top of that in a bit. At the moment, I don't think it's got a reddish enough tone for my liking, but that's okay because I'm going to build into that. I'm just roughly getting colour down for now. And because I'm using watercolour pencils as well, you can move the colour around with the paint water, or sorry, just the water. So again, you don't have to be too fussy at this point, because we can adjust it. So I've got a bit more of an orangey tone here. I'm hoping that it's going to be right. We'll soon see. And I'm forever looking back at my reference image to see where I see those flashes of more intense orange, and that's where I'm focusing my attention when I'm using the colour. And the tail is actually paler in colour, so I'm going a little less intense there. And then I've got like a, what's this called? This is called cadmium orange deep, so we're going to go with that, see what happens. It looks like quite a browny tone with me, so I'm not going to go crazy with this. I'll use this in the darker areas, like the more shadowed parts of the maned wolf. Oh, I forgot that bit of his leg. I need to put that in. I was sketching a bit too rough then, I've gone out the lines. And then we'll go down into the legs, which, although they are black, I'll probably put some brown tones in there as well, and some highlights to show that sort of shininess of the fur that you can see. So we see it reflecting the light. Mine's looking good, I think, says Emily. Well done. That's what we like to see. A bit of confidence. How you feel about yours, Michael?
Good.
Awesome. You're talking to yourself. That's always a good sign. And even on the black, it's not solid black. There are darker tones and lighter tones, so just make sure you pay attention to those when you're shading. Beans, but my head is so good. Oh, we're having a positive day today. That's awesome. That's a good start to the week. That's what we need. Oh, Eugene says not good. What's not going good? What are you feeling is not working for you at the moment? See if we can talk you through it. Holly's struggling with the legs. It's because, sorry, Holly, it's because they're so disproportionate from what we're compared to seeing, I guess. And mine aren't perfect. They're not quite right. But so long as you've got long, slender legs, that is what is going to be representative of a maned wolf. I'm looking at this one now. I'm thinking that just does not look right. It looks too straight and not organic enough. It looks fake leg. And then the proportions of this one aren't quite right either. So definitely not the only one struggling with that aspect today, if that brings you any comfort. Now that I've got some base colour down, what I'm going to do is use the water so that I've got time for that to dry, so that I can then go in with the other details like I keep trying to do. How we do it, 11:30, not too bad. So I'm going to go in with the main orange first and then do the black details afterwards. It gives us a completely different tone once you've added water. It's a much more vivid colour, isn't it?
Too many pencils in my hand.
shading with ferocity today, Michael.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know my eyes, they don't look real.
Oh, Holly said that's given me some comfort. I'm glad I asked for help. Thank you. You're more than welcome. We all, you know, have our struggles with things. The thing, like I say every time, we are our own harshest critics. So we could be struggling with something and looking at somebody else's going, oh, this is really good, without actually knowing that that other person is going, oh, this is not good. So I think the most important thing, especially in sessions, is to have a go and, more importantly, enjoy it whilst you're having a go. Don't get stressed about it. Not the end of the world. Not a life or death situation. And always, whatever you draw is going to end up being far more interesting than that blank piece of paper that you started with. And that is reason enough to keep going with it. Emily's is bright orange. Well, I think the reference picture is bright orange. I think mine is a little bit too tanned. To be honest, I think I might have to put some more orange tones on mine once this has dried to make it more accurate to the actual colourings of the wolf. We shall see. Sorry, I know I've gone very quiet. I'm deep in concentration here. I always am when it comes to the black tones because it's a lot more difficult to correct them if you don't get them right the first time. Joe, the quiet concentration is deafening, isn't it? Right, so now I'm going to put those black details on the main. Like I say, the base colour at least. I'll go in once it's dry and then put in far more detail, make it a bit more vivid, especially on the mane and the longer parts. Show the fur a bit more as well. Even Michael's gone silent today. That almost never happens. Am I wrong?
When I game, I can scream a little bit, but
Yeah. Are you having a go today, Joe? Or is it pens down today? Pencils down, rather. Nearly there. And then hopefully, then what I'll do once this is drying, I'll focus on the face details because that's looking a little bit derpy at the moment. Word of the day for me. Alas, I've only got one reliable eye today, so didn't risk it, but hopefully better by next week so I can join in again. Oh, I forgot, Joe. I take it your eye's not any better then. It's that time of year, isn't it, where our immune systems are just battered. I've got sore throat.
I've got nothing.
You've got nothing, you're all right. You had a headache earlier, though. Has that gone?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all then.
I'm a lucky.
Yeah.
I'm a lucky ducky.
Was that just after drinking water?
Yeah.
Yes, as suspected, you're just dehydrated.
No. I'm just all that screaming that I've been doing lately, you know?
Gaming. Right, so that's the main base colour down. That's something at least, and then I can, like I say, focus on the details. Emmy's got a cold as well, yeah. There's definitely stuff going around now, isn't there? So, in terms of baby maned wolves, so what are we going to say about this? Female maned wolves tend to have between 1 and 5 pups, and they're pregnant for 65 days. The females are responsible for raising the pups, but there is evidence that the males, the dads, provide food to their pups in both zoo and wild populations. They nurse for 4 weeks, so they only drink milk from their mum for 4 weeks, at which point the mother introduces regurgitated food. And then pups generally leave the parents' territory at a year of age, so move out when they're a year old. There we go. So, as we said, they are near threatened at the moment, but since 1990 there's only been sporadic and unconfirmed sightings in Uruguay of maned wolves, so they're unofficially considered near extinct in that region, which is a shame. Most significant threat to the maned wolf is the drastic reduction of habitat, especially due to conversion to agricultural land, so once again, us lot. And many maned wolves are killed on roads, and there's a further threat from domestic dogs which chase maned wolves and may also pass on disease to them as well. Not good news for the maned wolf then.
Don't ask me what I've done here. I accidentally.
There's a lot going on in your background, isn't there?
Yeah.
You just go with it today. see if I can't get some better detail in his nose, because at the moment it just looks like a big blob on his face. I need to correct that. I'm just going to go with it. I think at this point I'm going off from my reference picture and just doing it from memory and imagination what I think the nose should look like, because I'm struggling a little bit with this part of the image. So I'm just going to fill in the blanks myself and hope for the best. Which I think has paid off. That's not too bad. Starting to take shape. Bean loves mine. We love this. We love this for you. How are we doing for time? Okay, right. I need to get a move on to get some of these details in. The ears look very unfinished at the moment, so I need to focus on that a little bit. Holly had to go now. She said thank you and goodbye. Thank you for coming, Holly, and don't forget to share your picture with us between 1 and 3 o'clock if you would like Joe to write some feedback for you. Emily said, I love yours, Pip. Thank you. You're too kind. It's got a bit of a way to go yet, though. We've got about 15 minutes left. I always find this bit, the white fur inside the ears, I find that a bit tricky to do. So I tend to use a grey pencil to sort of represent the fur lines. If anyone knows of a better technique, do feel free to share. So now I'm going in with the more sort of like reddish orange colour I've got and trying to add in fur line as I go along. And some more darker tones to represent shadowing and make everything look a little bit more realistic. That's the plan anyway, whether it actually happens remains to be seen. In case you're wondering, next week, like I said, is the last week of the term, and technically, I think that makes it the last one of the year. I mean, just the way the dates have fallen this term means that we are doing our next draw along in the new year, which seems crazy, but also it's a funny, busy time of year for everybody, isn't it? So maybe it's probably for the best. But if you do get withdrawal, we have a huge bank of previous draw alongs that many of you probably haven't seen, and you can find them on our YouTube page. So you can always scroll through and catch up on some of the older ones we did. I think when we first started, which would have been this time 2 years ago, wouldn't it? We've been doing this 2 years. We started with British Wildlife, and we did like Robin and Fox. I can't remember what else we did now. That seems like a long, long time ago. Probably because it was. But yes, next week will be the Dole. It's spelled D-H-O-L-E, and that's the last of the series of our Wolves and Wild Dogs. Before we move on to a new topic for the new year. But I know we don't want it to end. I know I surprised myself. I don't know what's happened with the dates. It is kind of good though, if I'm completely honest. So me and Joe are very busy behind the scenes at the moment, creating tutorials for 2 of our courses. So level 3 cookery we've got, but that probably the one you guys are most going to be interested in is the level 2 art and design. So that obviously with draw along pools, and it just gives us more time to dedicate on those art tutorials as well. So we're not just having a long break, we're just switching our focus to a different type of work. We'll still be doing plenty of artwork though.
I actually did it for pretty much a whole hour this time.
That's impressive. You got into that one, did you, Michael?
Although I don't like the background. I accidentally did it a bit wrong.
What would you change about it?
I don't know, look how wrong it looks.
I think it's probably just because there's a lot of background compared to the actual image of the main wolf. Maybe if the main wolf was bigger, it wouldn't feel...
But look, it's got baby wolf a bit.
Oh, I don't know. One with a pup. And same with the white tip of the tail. I'm going to use the grey to represent, you know, the sort of gaps in the strands of fur.
We're going to use a new black soon.
We say a break, but really we just replace one type of workload with another. That is exactly it. And we love it. We do. It's good to have a change and change your settings and what it is you're doing. So it just means we'll come back in January really refreshed, raring to go with more draw alongs, which again, what we're drawing is already planned out, but for the life of me I can't remember what it is we're doing come January, so can't help you there. But once again, if you'll follow our page, you'll be notified when we create new events for them when they're ready to go up. So if you haven't already, don't just like the page, you need to follow it so that you receive those notifications as well, because otherwise you might miss them. Same as with Joe's craft along, which again, if you're not busy on Fridays, or you are, but you can always catch up and watch it on replay. Joe is doing Christmas themed draw alongs. We are going to try and join in this Friday. What are we doing this Friday? Is it I just ordered some stuff from Amazon for it, so I should know. I know I've ordered it, but I can't remember now. If you're listening, Joe, what are we doing on Friday? But we will definitely be joining in with my 2 learners. They've asked if they can see yours, Michael. Do you want to show?
Yeah.
You happy to? So here's Michael's at the moment. He managed to get the pup in as well. Got the long legs. The mane is very prominent, I like that. And then we just went for it on the background, didn't we?
I was just like, yeah.
We're going very expressionistic there. think I'm going to try and use a bit of water on the face, especially the eyes. They're so tiny because this is a whole body piece and not just a head. It's quite easy to lose the details if you're not careful, so I'm using a small paintbrush for this.
You have 9 minutes left.
9 minutes, loads of time, doing fine. No panic at all today.
Wow, I finished early. Again.
No, right. Oh, he says that looks great. That's cute with 2 of them from Bean and Bud. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I might finish a bit early today. I don't know whether to put some more pencil lines in the fur.
No, because you're going to wreck it.
No, it definitely needs more. It's looking too flat here.
Okay.
Okay. You're getting your told you so ready, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to sort of really show that longer, shaggy fur, which I think would be better. Is better to do with the pencil lines going back over it. Did you sign your picture, Michael?
Yeah.
Mine's finished from Natalie, or whoever's on Natalie profile. Emily's done. Yeah, I think I might be as well. Sometimes it's bizarre, isn't it? When we're drawing the whole body, I find sometimes that I'm finishing quicker, and I don't know if that's just because you get the details down quicker because you're very aware that you're doing the whole body, or what. It just seems to be working out that way. Lots of black. There it is. And then a little bit more black in that mane. I think it might be done. I think that's all right. For a first attempt at ever drawing a maned wolf, I don't think that's too shabby. I'm just going to add in a little bit more tone to the towel. And this isn't because I think it's dark on the picture, it's not. But for me, it just doesn't balance the picture well on my illustration. So I've just added a bit more colour there. Right, sign it, claim it as your own, date it. There we go. Maned wolf. Not actually a wolf, not actually a fox, and not even a Pokemon. It's in its own class, which we love. Yeah, thanks for joining us as a guest. And like I say, next week's our last one, so please do join us. And don't forget to upload your image today between 1 and 3 o'clock if you'd like some feedback. The earlier you can get your images on, I'll be honest, the easier it makes our lives. So it just means that we can give you more time when Joe writes the feedback. If everybody uploads their pictures at 10 to 3, it makes it a little bit more rushed. So if you can get your images on as soon as you can from 1 o'clock, that'd be fantastic. It helps us out massively. So yes, we'll see you next week. or even Friday if you're going to join us for the craft along that Joe is running and that we will be joining in with as well. The event is already up, so check that out. In the discussion tab, you'll see a list of all the tools and equipment you might need. But yeah, thanks for joining us. See you later. Bye bye.